Hey, today we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing decimals. Our learning goal is I can multiply and divide decimals. Let's start with our daily review. So we have 3/4 divided by half. Feel free to pause the video and try this on your own. We want to draw a picture and solve this. To solve this, we're going to use the reciprocal. By using the reciprocal, we're actually going to multiply. So we're changing it to a multiplication problem. The reciprocal says two numbers whose product is 1. So we're going to keep, change, flip. Then we look to divide opposite if we can. Dividing both by 2, we end up with 3/2. So we'll start off by drawing a representation of the dividend. And it's 3/4. Now we're going to divide our whole in half. So there we go. Now let's divide it in half. Now it says to circle the new sections that represent the numerator of the divisor. This is the divisor, and our numerator is 1. Now we're going to look at counting all the, we're going to count all the number of shaded boxes. This is the numerator of the quotient. So our total number of shaded boxes is 6. And then our circled portion is 4. And 6/4 is the same thing as 3/2. And 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. That's going to be it for our daily review. Let's review some vocabulary quickly. Quotient, the answer to a division problem. The product is the answer to a multiplication problem. Find the product of 5.5 and 4.87, or 5 5/10 and 4 87/100. So we have 4 87/100 times 5.5. Okay, so we'll go ahead and multiply these together. 7 times 5 is 35. Carry the 3. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry the, so that makes 3. Carry the 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 4 is 24. Next we'll do a place value. 5 times 7 is 35. Again, carry the 3, that's 43. Carry the 4 again, we get 24. Now we'll add these together to get 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 4 plus 3 is 7. 2 plus 4 is 6. Bring that down. Now we have to move our decimal place value. And let's see, to the right of the decimal is 1, 2, 3 places. So from the right, we'll go 1, 2, 3. There we go. It says, find the quotient of 3 6/10 and 1.2, or 1 2/10. Our equation here, our problem here. So we'll have our dividend and our divisor here. So let's see, we have 3.6, or 3 6/10. That goes inside of the house, or that's the dividend. And our divisor is 1 2/10. So now we need to figure out what our quotient is. We can't divide with a decimal on the outside, so we've got to move it over 1. We've got to move it over 1 on the outside. We have to do the same thing on the inside. So I'll rewrite this as 12, or 36 divided by 12. Now that's easy. That just becomes 3 and 36. We get a remainder of 0. So our answer then is 3. 2, number 1. Okay, let's go to number 3. It says find the product of 3 and 25/100ths and 4 and 8/10ths. So we will write 3 and 25/100ths times 4 and 8/10ths. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's start by multiplying because product means multiplication. 8 times 5 is 40. I bring the 4 over. 2 times 8 is 16 plus 4 is 20. Here's the 2. 8 times 3 is 24. 24 plus 2 is 26. Now we'll add a place value. 4 times 5 is 20. Make that a 0. Bring the 2 up here. 8 times 2 is 8 plus 2 is 10. Carry the 1. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13. Now we will add 0, 0, 6, 5, and 1. Now we have to add our place value. Our decimal place. So we've got 1, 2, 3 again from the right. So 1, 2, 3. And we get 15 and 6/10ths. Number 4. Feel free to pause the video and try this on your own. Find the quotient of 42 and 3/10ths and 12/100ths. Remember, this is our dividend and this is our divisor. Our dividend and our divisor. The number you divide into a problem is your divisor, and your dividend is the amount you want to divide into a problem. So we're looking for our quotient again. So we have our 42 and 3/10ths and our 12/100ths on the outside. We're looking for a quotient. Once again, you can't have the decimal on the left at all, so we've got to move it over to the right. Uh-oh, we have a sort of a hump here with no number, so we've got to add a 0 in there. So let's rewrite this. There we go. Okay, now we have everything in our dividend taken care of in our divisor, so now we can begin to figure out what our quotient is. 12 can't go into 4. If you get stuck, you can back up the truck. Still recording. You can back up the truck, so that's 3, 36. 42 minus 36 is 6. Bring down the 3. 12 times 5 gives us 60. Down the 3. And I bring down the 0. 12 times 2 is 24. Now I have to add a decimal because I have to keep going. Add a 0, and 12 times 6, as we've already established, or 12 times 5 is 60. You could also write this as 325.5. Okay, it means the same thing. Okay, and hopefully I didn't cut that bottom off there. All right, so there is the answer to that question. Brenda's Road Paving Company has 608 and 9/10 tons of cement to pave 5 miles of roadway. How much cement on average did the company use per mile? Okay, so let's see. We know that per mile means that we're going to have to figure out what it is per 1. So that means for number 5, we're going to have to divide. Divided by 5. Okay, so 5 goes into 609. 608. Well, it doesn't. You can do it actually into 60, or you can do it into 1. 5. And then 2. That's 12. Okay, so we get 10. And we bring down our 8. 5 goes into 8 one time. Decimal here. So now 5 into 3, we've got to bring down our 9. So that's 7. And let's see, that's 8. So we end up with 121 78/100ths per mile. That is per mile. Okay. There are several metal spheres. There are metal spheres being used for an art project. Each metal sphere weighs 0.8 of a gram. If you were to weigh 7 of the metal spheres, how much would they weigh in all? Okie dokie. So we have this art project with these metal spheres, and they weigh 0.8 for 1 gram. How much would it weigh if you weighed them all? Well, we're going to have to multiply. Well, we could add 7. We could add 0.8 7 times, but times means multiply. So we get 56. And since there's one number to the right of our decimal, we get 5.6. So our answer then is, how much did they weigh in all? They weighed 5.6, we'll say 5.6 grams. Today you learned how to multiply and divide decimals. Thanks for tuning in.